I think I need clarity on this aspect. Can you describe the moment when you discovered your husband's secret gay affairs, and how did you feel about it?
I think I can say to say it was a shock would be an understatement. It was so much devastating because all my life I'd never, there are certain things that you can foresee coming, but there are certain things that you don't think they will ever happen to you. And for me to think that the young man that I met 1976 in April at Gweru Teachers College, I never thought, because in his confession he's saying he has always been like that. For me to think that it's like you are already dating a serial killer, somebody who has been killing and killing. So I then come back
Without your knowledge.
Without your knowledge. And then you say, and that is somebody, you go to the, to make a vow to God to say, I'm going to be with you. That thought alone, to look at him and to think I was living in whose mind was set on man. This falsehood, it's like you are entering in a wonderland that is not real. To think I've had 3 children, when my greatest desire, as long as I remember when I was still a baby girl who could desire to have her own children, I was thinking I will bring up a God-fearing family.
Little did you know.
Little did I know. Because the fact that he's in an occult, this is so clear. It's not even in an African, our culture. Let me put Christianity aside and let us put the African culture, the Ndebele, the Shona culture.
It's a taboo.
That is never been made. And also, to think that when my children are saying daddy to their dad, the chances that their dad is somebody's wife. And sometimes I ask myself, so I was living with another woman. It's so nauseating. And to think that he's chosen as an elder. And so this false, that he cheated me into marrying him. Why didn't he tell me? He should have been open and I should have made a decision. I've been lied to all my life. Number 2, to think that he has lied to his own blood, his own children. He should have been a man enough to tell my children. That means that they might be having similar genes. It's unfair.
You mentioned about the conflict or maybe a mere misunderstanding you once had with with your son when something when he denied to go to school, saying he's being laughed at and at school. May you clarify on that?
Oh, about, you remember I mentioned this in court. That's where you picked it. Really, what happened, we were in UK, and my youngest was in year what? Anyway, maybe equivalent to Form 2 or what. So my husband used to do what we call more like temporary teaching, supplementary teaching. So then he used to go to their school. It was just a walking distance. So one day my son comes and then he indicates, yes, I'm just trying to interpret to
Yes.
the viewers, maybe in our country,
Right.
they'll understand that. He wasn't a permanent teacher. He would be a teacher. Let's say if a teacher didn't come to school, then a senior teacher would call him to say, come and, it's more like babysitting the students.
Okay.
So that when the actual teacher comes,
Right.
they then, so he wouldn't get many of those shifts. But when my son was going, it was a walking distance.
Right.
Then he says, one day my son confronts me and says, I'm not going to school.
And he was...
What? I know I'm not going to school. Then he says, because they are laughing at me. The other children are saying my dad is gay. It hit me. And do you know what? It hit me in genuine love. Now already I'm saying, oh, my husband, how will he feel to hear such? Because I know children tend to come up with certain stories, especially when adults discuss certain things in public, then they pick, and then when they get to school, they can victimize. Then I'm saying, how will my husband feel? I was feeling for him, thinking, how will he take it? That the children where he is. I just took it as racism. I just, in my mind, I said, it's because they don't want him to be teaching them since he's a black from... I'm just, my mind works very fast.
Right. So how did you respond?
I was in a denial.
Okay.
But what I did not notice is that this denial is how will my husband take it. But I'm trying to say to my son, no, don't worry, you have to. And I'm thinking, let me go and tell my husband so that we can talk to the child together. It's not even in my mind to think that
it was real.
No, not at all. So I was so surprised that my husband is standing right there next. So my son had already indicated, little did I know that my husband knew about this. Straight from the school. Now, then he just stands there and is quiet. And I'm saying, how can this man? Did you hear what? Yes, I will have it. So, and he was very young then, and then he was adamant, and he says, no, I'm not going. They are saying, Dad is having an affair with so and so. He mentioned the name of the man who gives him what shifts, that teacher.
Okay.
So that was the. Then he says, I'll solve it. He never spoke about it. And you know what? At the time, it didn't really sink much, and I was thankful in my heart that it didn't affect him much. And the fact that my son then went back to school, then I said, these are some of the things to leave. Because the other two were already in America.
Okay.
Now I look at it, how?